Hello everyone and welcome to this video. I've prepared this video to share my experience with you. We recently went to Tibet, Mount Everest Base Camp, Lake Mansarovar and Mt Kailash. It was a beautiful experience. So here I am sharing my experience with you and putting together some information that might be helpful. There are some slides that I have prepared and I'll go into each of them one by one. I also wish to mention this material is only for your reference. Please make thorough inquiries with the relevant authorities before you plan such a trip. So let's start. Step number 1. Check your passport validity. If your passport expires in next 6 months, it is recommended that you contact the relevant government agency to obtain information concerning your travel. Own research. It is highly important that you do a thorough research. Search for the travel agents or agencies that provide such tours. It could be in Australia, China, Nepal, or wherever. We booked through an agency in China. However, we reviewed all the codes that we had requested. We also checked the travel routes and inclusions and exclusions. Make sure that your travel agency is registered and legit and only pay once that is confirmed. It is a good idea to have contact details of a staff member who will be dealing with you and would assist you in preparation of the tour. During the search, you might want to check with the travel agencies the route they're going to take for 10 to 15 days of the trip. You can request complete detailed information of each and every day for the entire trip. You can also ask for the total package price, food, whether it's included or excluded. If it is included, then what types of meals are included. Most importantly, check on Tibet travel permit and Chinese visa. Also check with your travel agency about your stay, whether you'll be staying in 3, 4 or 5-star hotel, the places that you will be visiting each day, and the ticket costs if they apply. The reason why I mention this is because for us, there was a ticket to Mount Kailash which was for $300 per person. And this was something we were not told at the time we booked through the travel agency. Also check about porter, if it is available or not, and how much is the cost. It is a good idea to hire a porter for 3 days at Mount Kailash for trekking. Check about insurance, types of insurance, and whether it is covered or not. Check about tour guide charges, included or excluded. Language spoken by the tour guide. Most importantly, you want to check about the water bottles, if they are provided during your day trips for 10 to 15 days, because most of the time you'll be traveling in a bus. Check on staying before the tour begins and airport pickup arrangements which the travel agency may organize when you arrive to Lhasa. Storage arrangements. When you start your trekking for Mount Kailash, it is important that you check with the travel agency about where your items would be stored. Most importantly, refund conditions and policies. In case of flight cancellation, visa cancellation, or delay in visa approval, check with your travel agency what the conditions are. It is likely that the tour starts on a certain date from Lhasa and ends on a certain date. So it is a good idea to check on these conditions. China visa. You will need a visa to enter China or Tibet and a Tibet travel permit. You can either fly directly to China, in which case you can apply for a China visa in Australia, or you can travel via Nepal, in which case you will be required to apply for a China visa when in Nepal. Nepal visa is required for entry to Nepal, which you can get upon arrival in Kathmandu. However, it is recommended that you check with your travel agency and relevant authorities. Things to remember: if you are traveling via Nepal, you can obtain Nepal visa upon arrival at the airport, as mentioned before. It is a good idea to carry some cash to pay for the visa. Upon reaching Nepal, you can apply for China visa. Your travel agency may recommend a private agent that could help you with the visa process. This process takes 3 to 4 working days. Plan your stay somewhere near in Nepal for this period beforehand. It is a good idea to allow an extra day just in case if there is a delay in visa processing. In Kathmandu, things or taxi could be highly expensive. However, you may bargain and get it at a reasonable price. There will be a lot of airway traveling throughout this trip, so ensure that you allow yourself sufficient time in between, have good rest, and prepare yourself for the next trip. You will need health insurance for this trip. It is recommended that you carry light and warm clothes, a sleeping bag, trekking shoes, walking sticks, a hot water thermos, essential medicines with you. At Mount Kailash, it is a good idea to hire a porter. Try carrying less items. You may need to carry water bottle and food. This would depend upon your arrangement with your travel agency. For 3 days at Mount Kailash, on the way there may not be many shops. Therefore, it is advised that you check with your travel agent or your tour guide about food arrangements. It is also a good idea to carry hand sanitizer, napkins, toilet tissues with you. High altitude sickness. Some people feel difficulty in breathing, headache, and dry nose when they reach Lhasa. This is due to a high altitude. Check with the tour guide. They could help you in buying a medicine for such health issues. Such medicines are available locally at chemist shops. It is also a good idea to stay at Lhasa for a couple of days so that the body gets used to the high altitude and then responds normally. We face a number of problems during our tour, and this is why I share this information with you. Number one, language. There are very few people that speak and understand English in Tibet. Most of the people speak Tibetan and Chinese. We found Google Translator to be a good tool to communicate with people. Number two, money. Keep checking with your tour guide about the ATM machines around, as you may need cash. And after Lhasa, there may not be many ATM machines around. Respect all religions and their beliefs. People from various countries travel to Mount Kailash and Lake Mansarovar. Depending upon your religious beliefs, make sure that you check with your travel agency about do's and don'ts in the area. For example, Hindus believe in taking a dip in Lake Mansarovar, for which there are designated areas. Tibetans, on the other hand, believe in kneeling down and praying without going into the lake. Therefore, clarify for yourself before you pay for the entire package. Food. We also had difficulty in finding Indian food in Tibet. However, this may vary for everyone. Otherwise, there are Chinese and Tibetan food shops and restaurants around. Health. In our group, none of us had any big health issues. Tour guides generally carry oxygen cylinders, which can be used when required. Get more information about this from your travel agency. Mount Everest Base Camp. In our travel package, we also included travel to Mount Everest Base Camp. Certain people may experience high altitude sickness. Speak to your tour guide, and as mentioned before, Medicines are available locally at Lhasa, which you may carry with you. Overall, it is a wonderful experience. Thank you so much for watching this, and I hope that this information is helpful to you.